When teaching online, it can be a challenge to get to know your students and for them to get to know one another. Using VoiceThread to provide an opportunity for students to introduce themselves can get your class off to a good start. It not only provides a way to begin building community, but also allows your students to experience using VoiceThread for a non-graded activity, so they're better prepared to use it later on in your class. Let's take a look at adding a VoiceThread introduction activity to a Blackboard course. Okay, so I'm already in coursework. And I could put this into my week 1 folder, but I'm going to just add it and put it at the top of coursework to make it easy to see. So we're going to go to Build Content and look down at the bottom and you'll see VoiceThread. Now this is a 2-step process. We'll be creating a link in Blackboard and then we'll be configuring that link to set up the actual connection. So right now we're just creating the link. So I'm going to call this my Course Introductions, and you should add some instructions for your students. You can add an attachment if you choose. That's probably not necessary for this. In the grading section, we're going to leave Enable Evaluation set to No so that this is not a graded assignment. If you would want to make it a graded assignment, you would just click Yes and then add the appropriate information. Okay, we don't need to change anything else here, so we're going to go ahead and Submit. So this has now created a link to VoiceThread, and it's going to be down here at the bottom of coursework. So I can either drag this up to the top, or I can come up here and I can click on my reordering button and just come down here to the bottom, find my Course Introductions, use my arrow to get it up to the top, and then click Submit. So either way works fine. Okay, so my link is created, but it doesn't connect with VoiceThread yet, so I need to click on the link. And now we need to decide how we want to attach that link to VoiceThread. We do have some options. If we were to use Course View, this would list all of the different VoiceThreads for the course. If we used Home, that would list all of my VoiceThreads. We want to do individual VoiceThread because we want the students to go directly to the VoiceThread that we want them interacting with. So we'll click Individual VoiceThread. And now if you've already created an Introductions VoiceThread that you're using with multiple classes, you could just choose it from over here on the left. We're going to walk through the process, so we'll click on Create New VoiceThread. Your first step in creating a VoiceThread is always to add media. So we're going to click on Add Media, and we have a variety of options. Some faculty like to use webcam video and just create a video of themselves, and that's what the students will then add a comment to. Some prefer to upload a PowerPoint or an image. So I'm going to go to my computer and we'll take a look at what the process looks like if you were to add a file. Now this happens to be a JPEG, but we could just as easily have done a PowerPoint. So I'm going to enter my title, and I can put a description in if I like. You do want to remember to come over here to playback options because this controls how your students are interacting with the VoiceThread. So we're going to turn on Enable Threaded Commenting. This allows students to respond to one another and keep those comments together in a thread. Allow commenters to add slides to this VoiceThread. We are going to turn off because we really don't have a need for students to be adding anything to the VoiceThread other than their comments. The rest of these are fine as they're set. Over here to the right, we need to determine how students are going to interact with this VoiceThread. I usually turn off file upload just because it's not something that students are generally going to be doing. They would have to find some other software to create an audio or a video file and then use this option to upload it. Since this is an introduction, you might want to take away the text option. Have your students either do an audio or a video comment for their introduction, but that's up to you. If you want to make it very easy for the students to do without any pressure, you might decide that you want to leave text turned on. So make your decisions here as far as how you want them to interact with it. And then we're going to click on Save. I do want you to notice there is a Save as Default. If I were to click this checkbox and then Save, it's going to keep my settings that I've just chosen as the default for future VoiceThreads that I create. So I'm going to click Save. And now we're ready to add a comment to the VoiceThread. Our steps are up here, 1, 2, 3. One was add media, which we've already done. If you wanted to add additional media, you do have the plus sign here to do that. But our next step would be to comment. So I'm going to click on comment, and it will bring up my slide that I added. And then this is the same way your students are going to interact with the VoiceThread and add their introductions. They'll come down here to the bottom where this plus sign is, just as we're doing now. And we click, and then we choose which of the options we want to use. I'm going to do a video comment so we can see what that looks like. Okay. Now you see it popped up, and it's asking me for permission to use my camera and my microphone. So we need to get those set and allow. Remember this decision. If you click on that, it's going to remember for the next time, so you don't have to do this every time. Okay, so I get my countdown and we will be ready to go. Okay, so I'm here and I'm introducing myself to the students in the class, and I might be giving them a little bit of information about what I hope they will do as far as their introduction, and when I'm finished, I'm going to click the Stop Recording button. And it's going to take a moment for this to upload. Okay, so I'm here and I'm introducing myself to... So it's going to automatically play, and you'll see that my recording is over here on the side. That's the same thing that will happen for the students. Theirs will be over here below this. If I'm ready to go with this, I can click Save. If I don't like it, I can click Cancel and I can start over. Or if I wanted to add to this, I can do Record More. So we're going to save. So at this point, we have our content, we have our comment added. So we're going to come over here and click to close because we're finished with our commenting. The last thing we need to do is share this with the class. So we'll click Share with Class. And everything looks good here. We just need to click the Share with Class button. And that's all we need to do. If I go back to coursework now, we'll see that the link is here and it's now ready to go. The VoiceThread's ready for the students to just jump in and add a comment to introduce themselves to the class. They can do this with a computer or with a mobile device, whichever they prefer. Hopefully you and your students will enjoy the opportunity to get to know one another a bit before jumping into the course content. If you have any questions at all as you set up an Introductions VoiceThread, please contact the help desk. As always, we're here to help.